Skylar White, as portrayed in Breaking Bad, is a character widely regarded as the worst in the series by many viewers. Her lack of relatability, moral hypocrisy, limited character development, and tendency to undermine the show's tone all contribute to her unlikability. Moreover, personal frustration and annoyance with her character can significantly detract from your overall viewing experience. While Breaking Bad remains a masterpiece of television, Skylar White is undoubtedly one of the most polarizing and disliked characters, to the extent that her presence often takes viewers out of the show. Breaking Bad, widely regarded as one of the greatest television series of all time, still has characters that stick out as the most detested and divisive, and Skylar White is one of them, the wife of the show's antihero, Walter White. While some viewers sympathize and relate with her actions and decisions, many, myself included, consider Skylar to be the worst character in the series, to the extent that her mere presence can often take me out of the show's otherwise gripping narrative. Skylar's unrelatability. One of the fundamental issues with Skylar White is her lack of relatability. Throughout the series, she consistently makes choices that are difficult for viewers to empathize with, leaving you frustrated by her actions. Skylar's actions throughout the series are often seen as a betrayal of her husband, Walter. Despite his initial incursion into the drug trade being driven by a desire to provide for his family's financial future, Skylar quickly becomes judgmental and unsupportive of his decisions. She continuously undermines Walter's authority and condemns his actions, leaving you with a sense of frustration toward her lack of understanding or empathy for her husband's predicament. Now, I am by no means supporting Walter White's real-world actions, but within the story of Breaking Bad, we are all rooting for Heisenberg. So Skylar's entire character mostly being built around opposing him, I can't help but dislike her. One of Skylar's most unlikable character arcs was her affair with her boss, Ted. Her infidelity not only betrays Walter emotionally, but it was also hard to watch, especially with how things ended with Skylar, Saul, and Ted. The decision to cheat on her husband, especially at a time when the family is facing life-threatening challenges, paints her in a very negative light and makes her a difficult character to root for. Skylar's hypocrisy. Another aspect that makes Skylar unlikable is her moral hypocrisy. She often condemns Walter for his actions in the drug trade, yet her own behavior is far from blameless. Skylar's willingness to engage in money laundering to hide Walter's ill-gotten gains raises questions about her own moral compass. While previously condemning Walter's, she claims to be doing it to protect her family, but her involvement in illegal activities is far from her initial stance as a law-abiding citizen. Note, this is a similar description to Walter, except Walter's character is far from hypocritical. He remains a man of his word, knows where his morals lie, and is the one who knocks. However, Skylar's moral high ground becomes increasingly shaky, pointless, and irritating as she becomes more deeply entangled in Walter's criminal activities. Rather than taking a strong stand against her husband's illegal activities, Skylar often enables Walter. She assists in money laundering, covers up his actions, and even suggests some criminal solutions herself. This moral inconsistency makes it difficult to sympathize with her character or believe she holds any truth, as she actively contributes to the chaos she claims to despise, without mention or reasoning why, beyond a love for her husband that she clearly doesn't have. Character development. While many characters in Breaking Bad undergo significant character development, Skylar's arc remains relatively stagnant throughout the series. This lack of growth makes her character less compelling and less likable. Skylar's character is often criticized for being one-dimensional. She is portrayed as the long-suffering wife who is constantly reacting to Walter's actions. Unlike other characters, such as Walter or Jesse Pinkman, Skylar's character does not evolve or adapt in response to the challenges she faces. This lack of growth can make her feel stagnant and uninteresting compared to other characters. Skylar's inability to empathize with Walter's motivations and actions throughout the series is a major contributing factor to her unlikability. Her rigid moral stance and refusal to see things from his perspective creates a significant barrier between her character and the audience. Viewers are left frustrated by her inability to grasp the complexity of the situation, which distracts from their overall enjoyment of the show. The odd one out. One of the significant reasons why I consider Skyler to be the worst character in Breaking Bad is that her presence often undermines the tone, style, and tension of the rest of the show. Creator Vince Gilligan has proven that he can be masterful with pacing and maintaining mystery, intrigue, and tension, even in slow scenes and episodes. But Skyler's supposed narrative arcs often grated against the feel, flow, and style of the rest of the show. Skyler's storylines, particularly in the earlier seasons, are often seen as less exciting and engaging compared to the high-stakes drug trade drama involving Walter and other characters. Her domestic issues and moral dilemmas seem trivial and meaningless, which slowed down the pacing of the show, causing me to lose interest during segments of the show that should be inviting me to ponder, relax, and decompress. Which again illustrates that Skylar White as a character never furthered the more interesting and iconic storylines, or the show and stylistic ones either. The character's actions mostly went against the grain, slowing the pacing of the show and adding a ton of weight, cringe, and unnecessary unlikability, alienating audiences. The frustration and dislike directed towards Skylar can lead to alienation towards the whole show for old and new audiences alike. When a character is so widely disliked, it can take you out of the show's narrative and make it difficult for you to fully immerse yourself in the story. Skylar's presence can become a distraction, distracting from the overall experience of watching Breaking Bad. Even while the show was running, I can remember conversations about Skylar's unlikability from other fans, worsening the already existing problem. While the arguments I have presented so far have tried to focus on objective aspects of Skylar's character, it's important to acknowledge that personal opinions play a significant role in how viewers perceive and dislike her character. In my own experience, Skylar was a character I found exceptionally difficult to like, and her presence often diminished my enjoyment of the show. As a viewer, I found myself consistently frustrated with Skylar's actions and decisions, her judgmental attitude towards Walter, and her high moral ground. Despite her own morally questionable actions left me with a sense of annoyance. I wanted to root for Walter and his transformation, but Skylar's character often got in the way of that, making me question scenes for the first time in the show where I didn't think that was possible. But even the best have to at least have one dud. Breaking Bad is known for its brilliance, over-the-top writing, complex, unpredictable characters, and moral ambiguity with a purpose. Skylar's moral ambiguity, unpredictability, and writing lacked overall purpose, and Skylar's character, in my opinion, detracted from the show's brilliance by often serving as a source of irritation rather than adding depth or complexity to the narrative. As the series progressed, Skylar's character became increasingly unlikable. Her moral high ground and judgmental attitude towards Walter's actions often felt alienating as a viewer. I personally don't watch Breaking Bad just for the amazing action, but also for the complex, multi-layered dynamic characters interacting truthfully with each other to form a grounded world within an epic narrative. However, when a character is so unlikable that they take you out of the story, that is cause for concern in an otherwise engulfing show. And don't just trust my opinion. The impact on viewer engagement due to Skylar's character appearances on the screen has been noted by AMC in various episodes and seasons. Personally, as an idea for the showrunners, since Skylar wasn't a useful character anymore in later seasons, and her story had long come to a narrative end, I think it would have been a wise decision of the showrunners to have her, and maybe even Walt Jr., murdered in Season 5, to really hammer home the message that Walter White had been fully engulfed by the criminal underworld, and Heisenberg had won. In conclusion, Skylar White was a poorly written and underutilized character, leading her to gain the infamous title as one of the most hated characters in Breaking Bad. But then years later, I decided to rewatch the whole show a second time. Upon revisiting Breaking Bad, my perspective on Skylar White began to shift. I found myself paying closer attention to her character, trying to understand her motivations and actions in a new light. It was during this rewatch that I started to see Skylar as one of the show's most compelling and realistic characters, rather than just an irritant. Skylar's unrelatability, as I initially perceived it, began to transform into a testament to the show's ability to portray complex, flawed individuals. Instead of viewing her actions as frustrating, I began to appreciate the depth and authenticity they added to the story. Skyler wasn't meant to be a perfect character. She was a reflection of the moral gray areas that Breaking Bad explored so brilliantly. Skyler's hypocrisy, too, took on a new dimension upon my second viewing. I realized that her moral inconsistencies were not necessarily a flaw in the writing, but a reflection of the human condition. People are often contradictory and make decisions that don't align with their stated principles, just like Skyler. This complexity added depth to her character that I had previously overlooked. Character development, or the perceived lack thereof, also started to make sense to me. Skyler's refusal to adapt mirrored the stubbornness of many real-life individuals faced with challenging circumstances. Her unwavering stance against Walter White's actions was a testament to her convictions, even if they were misguided. This unwavering quality made her character more authentic. The odd one out, Skyler's role in slowing down the show's pacing, became an opportunity for me to appreciate the contrast it provided. While Walter and other characters were immersed in the high-stakes drug trade, Skyler's storylines offered moments of reflection and emotional depth. These slower-paced scenes allowed me to connect with the characters on a more personal level, adding richness to the overall narrative. Alienating audiences. I realized that my initial frustration with Skyler was not a flaw in the show, but a testament to its ability to elicit strong emotions. Even though I found her unlikable at times, it was a testament to the show's writing and Anna Gunn's performance that I felt such a strong reaction. In conclusion, my second viewing of Breaking Bad allowed me to appreciate Skylar White as a character in a whole new light. Instead of being the worst character, I now see her as one of the best examples of the show's commitment to portraying complex, flawed, and ultimately human characters. Skylar's presence added depth, realism, and an emotional resonance that enhanced my overall experience of Breaking Bad. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the characters we initially dislike can surprise us with their complexity and contribute significantly to the brilliance of a series like this one.